Squatch dogs.
Welcome to the place where we find the proof you seek. O.C.S.T. Talking cryptids and the paranormal. You hear the whoops, you hear the growls. You watch the woods, you've seen it prowl. Welcome everyone to O.C.S.T.
All right. Good evening, everyone. This is O.C.S.T. Cryptid and Paranormal Talk. Today we have, this is Christy.
Hi.
I'm Harold. But tonight we have a special guest, Dwight Campbell from
Carolina Bigfoot, y'all.
Yep.
Woo! Let's go. I'm excited. I'm excited. I did some research today.
Let's see who we got in here first.
Oh, okay. Roll call.
Roll
Yeah, let's do this.
All right.
You know who's first? My best friend. My best friend was first.
Belinda. Oh, well, me. You. And Belinda. Well.
And Belinda, my other best friend from New Zealand.
Yep.
Hey, girl.
Hey, Belinda. How you doing? Heard you're getting ready to go to work.
Good luck today. Good luck.
And then we have Cat with K.
Hello,
Cat.
Katrina Marie. How's it going?
And Lisa Ann. Great to see you.
How's it going, Lisa?
Connor.
Why did that?
Great to see you.
Hey, CJ. Not working tonight, huh?
And then we got Pamela. Great
Hello,
to see
Pamela. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I need to check the other streams and see if they're going because they don't seem to be. Guess we'll
see how this
get
works.
that one going.
It says it'll start soon. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my
so
gosh.
our little experiment with doing multi-stream is not working out so well.
Again.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's our work in progress.
Yeah.
But you have like 50,000 things open. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's because I have this thing that's called
Oh, okay.
The blurp.
Technology and its finest, and I don't understand all of it, and that's okay.
Yeah, and then this thing doesn't.
I'm not sure. Wait, go back to. Does it say live right there?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So we're figuring this out. So it's going all the way.
I don't know.
No. We'll eventually get it figured out.
We're trying.
We're here on YouTube, and don't want to leave our guest waiting.
Hi, Tyler, 420. It's good to see you, hon. And Pamela, what are you having for dinner? It sounds delicious, whatever it may be.
Good
And I'm
to see
glad
you,
you're
Tyler.
listening. You guys, Dwight's going to be awesome tonight.
All right.
Hang on. He's got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I watched some of his TikToks today, and he went out in sandals. I'm so happy. Because everybody tells me that I cannot go Bigfooting in flip-flops. Well, guess what? He goes out in sandals. Yeah. So, I'm excited. That made me happiest. That
Jesus sandals?
Yes, they're Jesus sandals, and they're cool. And I want a pair of them. Anyway, and then he had some mountain views, and so I'm all about the mountain view. And you guys know that too. I love me some mountains. Pamela says, shelled pasta with homemade tomato sauce. Yum. I had quesadillas for dinner. So, all right.
All right, here we go.
Without any ado, let's welcome our guest, Dwight.
What's up? How y'all doing today?
All right.
We are good.
Great to see you.
You talking about pasta? You making me hungry. I'm about to give me something to eat.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you hungry.
Yeah, just the way she mentioned it, shelled pasta with homemade tomato sauce. I'm like, yeah.
Mm.
We'll all go to Pamela's house for
Good.
dinner afterwards. Just kidding, Pamela.
So, Dwight, you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got started?
Okay, I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm a child of the '70s. So I know if you watch YouTube, you'll see a lot of them old '70s documentaries about Bigfoot, like Bigfoot Manor Beast,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. Those old David L. Walper productions that were really good. Well, I grew up and watched that as it came out. And, Bigfoot kind of became, I guess, popularized in the late '50s with the footprints down at Bluff Creek.
Oh yeah.
And then Patterson and Gimlin film from 1967 kind of put it over the hump. So in the '70s, you really had a huge Bigfoot craze, and movies like Boggy Creek
Mm-hmm.
came out of all that. So I watched the documentaries, and there was a scientist named Grover Krantz, who was maybe the first quote unquote academic scientist to really pick up Bigfoot. Actually, when he got old in the '80s or early '90s, he actually passed the baton to Jeff Meldrum.
Mm-hmm.
For people that haven't been into Bigfoot all these years, might
Yep.
not know that, but he actually passed that baton over to Meldrum and gave Meldrum all his old footprint casts
Mm-hmm.
and all the information that he had collected over the years. He bequeathed all that to Jeff Meldrum. But Grover Krantz was on one of these documentaries. I think it's around maybe 75, 76, and he was talking about the Cripplefoot tracks,
Mm-hmm.
which had been gotten in Bossburg, Washington. And he explained that one of the casts was misshapen, the foot was misshapen, and the other foot was regular, so they got a whole trackway.
Oh yeah.
And he explained that where the protrusions were in the cripple foot were just where the bones would need to be to support an 800-pound animal, which were pushed back farther than what they would be if it was just a bigger version of a human foot. So he said, if they faked it, they would have to have a knowledge of anatomy and how you would change the structure of a foot to support an 800-pound animal. So he was thoroughly convinced that that was the real deal. And I'm sitting there as like, a 7, 8 year old kid. I'm watching that, and it just dawned on me. I believe every word this guy's saying. He's a scientist, and that just reeled me totally into Bigfoot. So at that point in time, everything that came on about Bigfoot, I watched it. And if Mama was in the front room watching TV, and I was in my bedroom, and she was watching Unsolved Mysteries. Unsolved Mysteries have 4 or 5 skits in it, right?
Yeah.
When it came up to one that had Bigfoot in it, she'd say, "Dwight, Bigfoot," and I'd come out of my room and sit down in there, and I'd watch the segment on Bigfoot. And I remember, I guess, the best Unsolved Mysteries segment on Bigfoot. And they had many, but
Mm-hmm.
was the one with I can't quite remember the guy's name. It was funny. It was something like Harvey Walkenbaum or something like that. But he went out into the woods, and he saw Bigfoot banging on a rock by a creek, and it ended up following him out of the woods. Originally, I think it fell down a mountain and got in front of him. And that whole thing that was like the best Unsolved Mysteries segment on Bigfoot, was that one. There's another one, of course, In Search of with Leonard Nimoy, had a
Yeah.
lot of good segments. And I like the one where the guy was in the Himalayas and he went outside the tent and he saw a couple of rocks in the distance and he thought he saw a rock move and he stayed out there and finally the rock jumped up and ran away. And the way he told that is just so believable. He didn't really have much reason to lie about something like that. He was an accomplished mountaineer. And
Hmm.
so when you go through the years, any magazines too that had Bigfoot, newspaper clippings,
Yeah.
I'd clip it out. It's funny because recently I bought a book that's all newspaper clippings about Bigfoot, and that was
Really?
a cool book to read. But I originally had done that. I had a scrapbook with articles about Bigfoot until it all fell apart.
No.
So you go to from the 70s all the way to like 2014. I was like the biggest Bigfoot fanboy in the world. And,
Hmm.
I went out in the woods and hiked and camped. But, I was always told, hey, Bigfoot's in the Pacific Northwest, or it's in Siberia, or it's in the Himalayas. But I always had an eye out and I heard and saw things growing up. I guess at some point in time I can talk about that.
Hey,
But
Dwight.
in the
Dwight,
back of my,
do
yeah,
you have a YouTube?
yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Dwight Campbell. And then
Okay.
I got a second YouTube channel called Squatcher X. That's my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now you can go on. Sorry, someone was asking for your link.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, I got a TikTok that's Carolina Bigfoot. Y'all might have put
Yep.
that up already. But so 2014, I just got to the point where I knew Bigfoot was in my area.
Hmm.
I had become more and more aware of that. And I didn't really like what the media was putting out there about Bigfoot. I knew a good bit about it from being into it all those years. I knew what made sense to me and what didn't make sense to me, also from being a hiker and a camper. And so I'm like, you know what? I can do better than a lot of these guys. Why don't I start my own research? So I ended up hooking up with the guy that, unbeknownst to me, was in the same city as me. I met him online, and he had already been out with a couple of Bigfoot guys. One guy that had been in the BFRO, and I started doing my own research in 2014. So, for people that know a little bit about the history of Bigfoot, I guess maybe the best thermal footage of a Bigfoot at this point in time is believed to have been gotten in Uwharrie by a guy named Mike Green, who's since passed away.
Oh yeah.
And I'm close to Uwharrie, and my buddy had already been out there in Uwharrie with a couple of, well, pretty well known researchers. And so I started watching in Uwharrie, and right off the bat, he had already had things happen. I kind of learned the ropes, learned different areas. I guess the best area in Uwharrie would be West Morris Campground. That's where that thermal image by Mike Green was filmed,
Yeah.
and there's some good areas there. There's also a number of other places in Uwharrie. Yates Place Campground is a place where some weird things have went on. One guy's got an alien video. He calls it the alien video from Yates Place Campground. So I started going to Uwharrie. Also started squatching in the South Mountains. I've done some in Tennessee. I've been up in Cades Cove and a couple of spots in the Smoky Mountains squatching. The biggest print I ever found was up in the Smoky Mountains at a creek that gets drained, or the dam gets drained uh, like once a year in the
Oh yeah.
winter, and the water goes down. And I found a big print in the sand that I took a picture of that was really wide,
Hmm.
and that's the widest, biggest print I ever found was in the Smoky Mountains. I have went up to the Adirondacks and squat some with a buddy of mine, Robin Moonshadow.
Do you
She
Do you
also
remember
came
how
down.
big? Do you remember how big the footprint was?
It was, I had measured it. It was 8.5 inches wide, and it was 16 inches long.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, it was a crazy looking track, and the water had just receded and went down. There were no boot prints or anything out there, and there were just two sets of barefoot smaller prints, and then just that big print too.
Oh yeah.
It was just really incredible to see. The Great Smoky Mountain National Park, I mean, that's a vast area out there. I think in terms of if you believe in the 411 thing, I think it's the second biggest cluster of missing people are in that area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that's a huge, huge area, easy to get lost in if you're a hiker, a camper, without anything crazy happening to you, just getting lost because it's so big, it's so beautiful. You step off trail there, it's easy to get
Yeah.
lost. I've also squatched in Georgia, in Florida, South Carolina, West Virginia, and we got buddies up in Pennsylvania, so we went up to Pennsylvania a couple times and went squatching. And so pretty much up and down the East Coast since 2014 to now, I've done squatches. That's pretty much, I guess, my background. I like to use thermal cameras, night vision, trail cameras. I like to document and try and capture evidence. I run audio recorders for like 2 weeks at a time. So when I get my audio recorder back, I'll have like 362 hours I
Oh
got to
wow.
listen to.
Oh yeah.
So we've modified a lot of our equipment. We've even taken thermals cameras that couldn't record, and we figured out a way to get them to record video and audio. My squatching partner's a HVAC guy, so he can pretty much rig up anything. And I've had my own ideas about getting audio on different devices. So we really like to capture evidence and document and record.
That's cool. I mean, one day we'll get all that kind of cool things. We're just mostly using our phones and a little bit
Our buddies in Pennsylvania, when they looked at us, they said that we were the 007 of squatching, and they said that, hey, we're just a couple of hill jacks with a flashlight and a baseball bat. That's how we do our squatching, and that's fine. Whatever you got is whatever you got. Everything I got in my arsenal, I had to save to get it. I didn't get it all at once. The good thing though is the price of quality thermal equipment's coming way down. When I first started, you'd see Finding Bigfoot, they'd be talking about their thermal camera cost $10,000, and it didn't really have that great a view of it when you'd watch the TV show. Nowadays, all these years later, 15 years later, 20 years later from when that show first started, you can get a good thermal for like $1,000 now with a 384 by 288 image that's really good. So prices on that equipment's come way down.
That's good because I could really use one out in the field. Yeah.
So I know I was watching a little bit of your TikTok earlier today, and I saw that you had a four-legged creature. Your companion, your partner in crime. He's got a little dog that goes with him. What's the dog like when she's
her name's Fendi, and she's 14, and she's a really good squatch dog. On the trail, she'll go on and off the trail, and she'll be exploring, but she'll always come right back to you, sniff your feet, look at you, make sure you're okay. If I'm out with some buddies, she'll do the same thing, make sure they're okay, and then she's off. There's been a couple of times where she stayed real close to us, and we figured that there was Bigfoot out there. One time in particular, we kept smelling a stink smell, and it would come in and go. And we were on the move. We were going out to change out an audio recorder and trail cam cards. So we kept smelling it go on and off. She stayed at our feet. We changed out the cards. We came back. My buddy saw some movement, and I zoomed in the area and actually got a picture of one crouching down in a hole with a tree to its back, looking between some leaves, and you can see its eyes in there. And if one's around, she's gonna be right at your feet, looking out after you. But she will chase. She knows what the deer smells like. She will
Mm-hmm.
chase deer. I don't know if she's had experiences with bear before. I'm not sure about that, but she'll be quick to chase a deer in a heartbeat. And I don't know how well a picture will show up. I got some pictures of evidence and different things, but this is a picture of me in the same view with the bear. And you can see that bear is coming above my elbow. That's the exact same view, the same trees in the background.
Oh yeah.
That's the biggest bear I ever caught on a trail camera, and that particular area is in the South Mountains. And my two dogs, I think you can see them right
Aw.
below me, and that's her right there. But I believe that areas where you can capture evidence that bears are in, I believe that Bigfoot's going to be in areas that bears are in, because if that area can support a bear, a
Yeah.
really large, 350 plus pound bear, and I think the bear in that picture is probably around 400 pounds. It can support a Bigfoot, and as a researcher, that's one thing I look at. If I put up cameras and I don't see any bears in the area, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I kind of have to have some other concrete evidence. Other than that, I'm not really going to waste my time in an area that don't have bears unless there's something else that I've documented going on. I like getting in areas that support a big bear. And I feel that, Bigfoot's out there existing with bears. I think they have a somewhat symbiont relationship with coyotes.
Yeah.
If you do a quote unquote a Bigfoot howl, if Bigfoots are in the area, a lot of times a coyote will respond to your Bigfoot call. You'll hear a bunch of them respond to it. And I
Yeah.
think there's kind of a symbiont type relationship that goes on there. But using trail cameras, that tells me what's in the area. And if I know that there's bear and coyote in the area, and I Google squatch it and see that there's vast pockets of wilderness and that they connect with each other. Because sometimes it's not just about a state park. It might be that you got a state park, but you got a game land right beside it.
Right.
Then you got a recreation area right beside it. It's that whole big area. And, if I see big areas like that, I know that at least there's a possibility that it could support a Bigfoot, and those areas are worth looking into. So.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've noticed that like around here, like southwest Oklahoma, and then up here kind of north, there are reports of black bear here and there, but for the most part, the places that I've gone and found evidence of Bigfoot being in the area, it's usually where I've also seen things like mountain lions.
Oh, yeah.
I've had encounters with mountain lions in the same areas where I've had some encounter with.
Yeah, I mean, if an area can support some mountain lions, there's no doubt that there's enough food to support Bigfoot as well. Cats, in a roundabout way, I mean, cats may not be quite as big as a bear, but a mountain lion's going to eat a whole lot. They're going to consume a whole lot. They got a fast metabolism.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if there's mountain lions in the area, there definitely could be squatch as well. That would be a good indicator as well. That's not a small animal. And, in some areas that maybe wouldn't have mountain lions or bear, if there's a whole lot of deer, then that can be an area where they're in as well. Because deer is big, but of course, deer in and of itself is food for Sasquatch as well.
Yeah.
The funny thing though is the biggest bears we got in the state, they're not up in the mountains in North Carolina. Our biggest bears are on the coast, and they
Mm-hmm.
get up to 600 pounds on the coast, whereas the mountain bears run between like 300 to 450 a whole lot of time.
Oh
They
yeah.
get so fat on the coast because they eat so many berries, nuts, vegetation. There's a lot of vegetation on
Yeah.
the coast, and so Sasquatch is they're omnivores, so they're going to eat meat. But also, if there's plentiful berries to eat, and how many times have you heard somebody witness a Bigfoot and have a Bigfoot story, and they were berry picking? That's a really common thing.
Yep.
So also, to be fair, if you have a lot of vegetation, a lot of fruits and berries in an area, that can be a good indication too. As a matter of fact, when Finding Bigfoot came to North Carolina the second time, and they were in the Asheville area, they went to an area that I know pretty well. And the biggest reason why they went down that area is it has a huge apple orchard, and people were having sightings in and around that apple orchard that was right under the Blue Ridge Parkway. So the Blue Ridge Parkway is a great super highway because it stretches a long distance between multiple states in the Appalachians, and you have that big apple orchard. They've been seen a lot at apple orchards, great grapevine vineyards. Those areas have had a lot of sightings from people that don't even believe in Bigfoot, but they've had encounters in those areas as well. So,
Yeah.
So we have our first question for you, Dwight.
all right.
Have you heard Bigfoot chatter?
There's one time when I heard the talk. Now we've recorded howls, and if I ever come on here again, I'll try to stack some howls on my phone and play them for you. But as far as quote unquote, the hoo ha ha hooey hooey yeah yeah, as far as that kind of talking and
Mm-hmm.
chatter, one time I've heard it, and I was in North Carolina on Highway 105, and 105 runs on top of the Linville Gorge. I don't know if you've ever heard of it,
Yeah.
but it's probably the biggest gorge east of the Mississippi, even bigger than the ones they got in West Virginia.
Hmm.
And I was on that road. I'd pulled off, and I was walking off trail. I came back to my car, and I heard some. It was coming from below, and I had went out off trail, off the road, but I didn't have my audio recorder with me. I went. I was already at the car. I reached in the car, grabbed my audio recorder, ran back around, pressed the record button, and it stopped. But that's the one time
Oh,
that I heard that chatter, and I wouldn't quite describe it as the samurai chatter, but it was some real slow, crazy talking that sound like a muffled human voice
Mm-hmm.
that are speaking, but you can't quite make out the words. But the wind wasn't blowing; it was below me, and the sound was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm crystal clear on what I heard. It just sounded like some language that I don't know, but it sounded like if a person was talking a foreign language. And it was very loud and very clear. So that was the one time
oh,
that I heard that chatter, unfortunately I
Yeah.
wasn't able to record it, and that still bothers me. So, on that road, one other time, there's a place called Wiseman's View, and I don't know if you've heard about the Brown Mountain Lights. That's one of
No.
the better places to get a view of the Brown Mountain Lights.
Oh yeah.
And me and Robin Moonshadow, we were out there all night until about 4 a.m. in the morning, and we caught a few lights. I'm not sure if it's the Brown Mountain Lights or not,
Mm-hmm.
but we got sleepy, and we were going to go back to our campground. And again, this is right down the road from where I heard that chatter. And on the way out, we smelled a stink smell,
Mm-hmm.
and Robin saw something going in between the trees. She got very scared, and she's First Nations from Canada. She never get scared of anything. She got really scared, and we got back in the car, and nothing else happened. But she felt like one was right in our area, and that's right down the road from when I heard the samurai chatter.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another, there's a YouTuber. I don't want to say his name. He's not a squatcher. He does gear reviews and stuff like that,
Oh yeah.
and test out equipment. Does a lot of camping. And on some of his videos, he says some strange things have happened around 105. That although he's not into paranormal Bigfoot, it makes him question it. So that's a pretty hot spot area, Highway 105 above the Linville Gorge in
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. But that's the one place I heard um, some chatter, something, and I really think that's what it was. It was Bigfoot language, Bigfoot talk.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, I think I know the guy you're talking about. I've seen some of his videos, especially recently. He's been bringing up that he's heard some things.
Yeah,
And it kind of
yeah, he's a good guy to learn a lot of things from, and see a lot of gear that works and gear that don't work. But
Oh
I
yeah.
like that dude a lot. That dude's got a lot of followers. He's really famous YouTube guy. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he's pretty easy to find. So if you
Yeah.
guys don't know who we're talking about, just look up gadget. Because that's kind of what I did. I was like squatching gadgets. I was just messing around, and his videos popped up. So yeah. So have you ever encountered a dog man?
Yeah, I have encountered a dog man. When I was in Uari, there were some really weird things going on in an area I call the Fern Forest. And over the course of time, I got a number of pictures, some that looked like a Bigfoot, and some that looked like was the dog man. I felt like something was watching me, and I'd see something dart from one tree trunk to the other,
Mm-hmm.
and I had my camera running. I'd take pictures and take video. At that point in time, I had both my dogs, Fendi, but her brother, who later passed away, Gotti, was with me, and I kept them on a leash at that point in time. And wherever they would look at, when they would start looking in different directions, I would zoom in and take some pictures. And so I showed them to my squatching buddies, right? And they were like, "We want to go to this area." And I told them everything that was going on. And so one night, I went with my main squatching partner, another guy that does a lot of squatching, and three other guys, and we went out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we set up camp in the fern forest. And one of them saw a couple of snakes. I wear my sandals, my TiVos down there too. I watch where I step though. It's real snaky. And when
Mm-hmm.
it starts to get dark, it's one of those places where the bullfrogs that go burp, beep, burr, burr, and I make all that noise. There's a lot of reptiles along that creek, and I believe it may be an offshoot of Spencer's Creek in Uwharrie.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I was running my camera. It was starting to get dark, and all of a sudden I saw up high something spinning and moving, real fast back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I raised my camera up and took some pictures of it. And all of a sudden it fell down and ran away. And as it's running away, I tried to snap some pictures of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the main pic that I got of it, when I zoomed in on it, it looked like a dog man. And I showed it to my buddy, and he's like, "What the bleep is that?" And we went back and did some recreation pictures of it. So I've actually got one of those pictures. So that's me
Oh, goodness.
standing. I don't know if you can make out the dog man.
Yeah.
You can see both his legs, He's
Yep.
got a really big arm. You see the top of his head, and
Yeah.
I'm standing right there. And so, if you see the tree limb, you can see the tree limb right in front of his, right below his head. And if you look at the top of my head, that's where that tree limb comes down.
Yep.
And that thing's about 9.5 feet tall.
Yep.
I mean, my head is under that limb, and that limb is under his shoulder and his chest. And when that happened, that made me think that the whole stories about the dog man are real. Um, and I show this picture, and I've got like three. I've got the first version of it, and then the blow up side by side. And
Mm-hmm.
most everybody that sees that is they look at it for a long time, and there's a lot of detail
Yeah.
that's in that. Now, I believe that the dog man on one end is definitely related to Bigfoot, much how a baboon is related to the great ape and monkey family. It has a snout.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, in one hand, a dog man would be more of a Bigfoot that has a snout. Now, on the other hand, Robin Moonshadow being First Nations, we talked a lot about this
Mm-hmm.
and talked a lot about shapeshifters and so on and so forth. And so I think also, not all the Indians here in America, especially in my area, went on the Trail of Tears. A
Right.
lot of Indians retreated up into the mountains
Yeah.
and lived up in the mountains rather than go on the Trail of Tears, which may have led to Oklahoma, I believe, if I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
And I believe that it could be First Nations people that live in the mountains that wear headdresses, as well as on the other side of it, it'd be a Bigfoot with a snout. And then on the third side, we have tales and myths of the catamounts, which are four-legged
Mm-hmm.
animals. And some people say it's a panther, but other people are like, nah, I've seen a catamount, and it don't look like no panther. It's on four legs, and it's huge. This thing fell down and ran off on four legs. So I don't know. This could be a straight dog man, a catamount, but I definitely believe that what people are seeing with dog man, that dog man's real, what it is. I mean, I have less of an idea than I even do with what Bigfoot is,
Mm-hmm.
but I've captured this one really good piece of evidence. But I have other pictures that show a dog face peering behind a tree trunk at me
Yeah.
as well. So I've got documentation of it, and so I know this phenomenon is definitely real. And I've seen what I know for a fact is some big unknown canines in Uwari in particular, but
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't that I took a picture of. That is something very different. So yeah, I believe in the dogman. I'm not going to pretend to tell you what it is, but
Right.
I do
Right.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple of pictures to share with you after the show. Um,
Okay.
uh, I believe I have the very first picture I ever took as a researcher out in the field. I was just taking pictures of a tree line out in
Mhm.
the Wichita Mountain Wildlife Refuge, and a good friend of ours that was on here a little while ago, CP. She's really good at finding things for people in their pictures. Well, turns out the tree line that I was taking a picture of was about 200 yards away, and I had
Mhm.
a really good camera with really good lens, and she was able to blow it up to the point where it's like you're standing right in front of it, and right in the middle of those trees there's a big creature, all black, the black hair, the skin, everything, and he's just staring, like he's staring right at me, right?
Yeah, I mean they're going to blend right in, and you wouldn't even know that they're there. We actually did some experiments where me and my squatching partner would stand at different places and just
Mm-hmm.
stand still without camo on, with a yellow shirt, blue jeans on. And if you
Mhm.
stand still through the foliage, you can't even pick people up then, let alone something that has a quote unquote natural ghillie suit that's dark, that's just standing there, man. I mean, they can camo themselves so easily. There doesn't have to be any Arnold Schwarzenegger predator, deal with it. They just have a natural ghillie suit that they can hide. They don't have to have any strange powers to be able to be feet from you and you not see them if they're not moving. So,
So we have another question for you. This comes from Australia. It says, "Hey mate, I'm an elder down under. I've heard our Yowies mimic. Have you ever had that experience?" So a Yowie is Australia's version of Bigfoot. So have you ever
yeah.
heard them mimic? Where you're
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I've heard a mimic, and in this area, in particular, in the South Mountain area, we've done some private party expeditions, and there's one guy that told us that you never hear crows at night. and
Mhm.
and he heard a crow at like 2 in the morning when some strange things were going on, and he just stopped dead in his track, shook his head, and he's like, "That's got to be Bigfoot." And we told him we feel the same way. I've heard a crow in the middle of the night, but it didn't quite. It was good, but I know it wasn't a crow,
Mhm.
and I've heard them mimic it. Now, I don't know if y'all have got whippoorwills that will just keep going all night long in certain areas, but I've heard whippoorwills when I've done some night hikes for a couple of miles, right? And
Mhm.
I've heard a whippoorwill right with me. And then I went on and it faded away. Then the whippoorwill got right with me again, and that made me think that they're practically masters with whippoorwills. Now they're good at mimicking a lot of other animals, but I really can't tell the difference if it was a Bigfoot or a whippoorwill. They're that doggone good, but when it comes to them mimicking crows, I can
Mhm.
kind of tell the difference. And we got another thing down here south called the bionic bird call,
Mhm.
and you hear what sounds like a generic type bird call, but it's got a metallic ping to it. There's a certain little ping to it that sounds metallic, and we think that that's Bigfoot using, I mean, either its hands or it's using something it made to make a really loud echoing bird call, but there's a little ping to it. They're using something that we call it the bionic bird call, and
Mhm.
we really think that that's a Bigfoot and not just some thunderbird or some unknown species of bird. We think that's a Bigfoot doing a call,
Right.
and that may be to alert other ones in the area of something in particular, not just that we're there, but something else
Mhm.
is a reason why they'll do that call. There's got to be a reason why. But I've heard a bionic bird call 3 times and recorded it one time. So
Oh
wow.
wow.
That's cool.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. A buddy of ours was doing a live the other night, MT Paranormal Life, and
Hmm.
um, he just recently had he does mostly paranormal, but he's been going out and trying to locate um, these Bigfoot in this area where he goes in Ohio, because the other night when he was doing his live, um, he was turning with his camera in a certain direction and he caught a Bigfoot on his camera, and he's gone back there and he's gotten uh, whoops, he's gotten the tree knocks, he's gotten uh, several glimpses of what could be something hiding. Um, but he mentioned something about um, metallic sounds.
Hmm.
So yeah, made that connection right there with that. But
Excuse me.
bless you.
God bless you.
But
Thank you.
he's also had he was also having what sounded like he says they sounded like a robotic voice,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird. But you know, if they're making metallic sounds, if they're mimicking any other kind of animal out in the woods that would normally um, be out there at certain daylight hours, and they're doing it in the middle of the night, um, so I could see them mimicking something that they've heard, uh, maybe somebody out in the woods mimicking talking like a robot in the daylight, and the,
Hmm.
you know,
I am a robot. No, just
yeah,
kidding.
but you
Well,
know that just shows
Oh, I know.
that they have the ability to uh, really uh, take you off track when you're going through the woods, uh,
hmm
and you can get lost just like that just on your own. But when
hmm
you have something like that that's mimicking these animals and trying to throw off your trail, you know, they're trying to throw
yeah.
you off their trail. Um, they can really uh, mimic a whole lot of
Yeah,
things. Like,
we've talked to a couple of people that grew up on farms, and when anytime we do a festival, we really get a lot of information up at
mhm,
our booth that we have, and from doing private party investigations. So we've heard more than one time people that grew up on farms, and their name would be like Mike, and so they'd be out working in the field, and their mom, their dad would say, "Hey, Mike, come on
mhm,
in.
yeah,
Hey, Mike, come over here." And that'd be, out around the house, and they'd hear, "Hey, Mike," coming from the woods, coming from way back in the woods. And it didn't take them long to figure out that that wasn't their mom and their dad or
yeah,
somebody that they know calling them. That was Bigfoot mimicking. They're smart enough to realize what their name was. They were standing out there, it's hiding somewhere and observing, "Hey, Mike," and the dude comes back to the house.
mhm,
They figure that stuff out. And
yeah,
we've heard that a whole lot. That they
mhm,
can even mimic somebody's name, and they're smart enough to realize that they can call somebody to them. So,
yeah,
yeah, that's kind of scary, though. That's
You
kind of
think?
scary when you think about. I don't think that they're necessarily kidnapping people. I really don't believe that, but that's a scary thing when you think about that. They could be just horsing around, yeah, and
mhm,
they definitely like to people watch. And if they feel safe doing it, we can be their sources of entertainment. If we're at a camp, if you're on your private property that adjoins the national forest, we can be their sources of entertainment, them watching us. But that's still scary, nevertheless, to figure out that they're smart enough to do something like that,
yeah,
and mimic and pick up on somebody's name. And that
yeah,
also says there may be more human than what some people believe they are, which people are basically divided in
yeah,
believing they're more human or believing that they're still more ape-like, in the
yeah. I mean,
Bigfoot community.
um, you know, regardless of what kind of species they are, they're very intelligent for their species.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't know if you've ever found anything like strewn on the ground, like uh, twigs that you found that really didn't fit in, uh,
Hmm.
and if you look at it, it in some cases, like I've found, even around my house now in my yard, what looks like they're trying to spell something out.
Man, yeah, I've heard that a whole lot. I've actually got some evidence of that as well. But the private property that I was talking about in Virginia,
Hmm.
um, the guy felt like they had laid some stuff on his steps that they had kind of intertwined with each other. But I'm gonna show you a picture on the Uwari Trail. I've seen some weird things. Now, there's been a number of times where a turtle's been placed right on the trail, and I've seen the footprint right there
Hmm.
with the turtle. Now, why they leaving turtles, I don't know, but I've also walked down a trail and walk back up. And I'm always looking on the ground, especially since I wear flip flops and sandals a lot. I'm always looking on the ground. So one time on the way back, I got this picture, which is an
Oh, an
X.
X.
and there's a little, I don't know, a little slash. It almost looks like
Mm-hmm.
algebra. Those
Mm-hmm.
were broken. Those were snapped off,
Yeah.
and they wasn't on the trail on the way up, but they were on the Uwari Trail on the
Yeah.
way back. And I have no doubt that they left that there
Yeah.
for me to look at, and I took a picture of it, and it almost looks like algebra, but an X is involved in it too, which in the Uwari National Forest, I've seen a lot of X's. This right here is the biggest
Oh
X
wow.
I've
Yeah.
ever seen. I can walk right under that and not bend my head down. And that I found that in the Uwari National Forest. Actually, Fendi sniffed a trail, and Fendi's nose went right to that X, and that's how I found it way off trail. So there's no doubt. Some people call the symbols on the ground glyphs, that it's some kind of glyph.
Yeah.
Um, what they mean, I don't know. I know there's a lot of theories. I just know hope to catch more evidence of it and
Mm.
document it. But it's got to mean something. Also on the Uwari Trail, one time they left me three different colored rocks
Oh cool.
on the trail, and that symbol I left it as it was. I didn't pick the turtles up. I did pick those rocks up and keep those rocks though. And I had a cracker in my backpack. I put the cracker down. Robin Moonshadow told me I should, if I take something that I think might be a gift, whether it is or not. Robin told me to leave something. So
Yeah.
all I had really to leave was a cracker. I wasn't gonna leave a knife or something like that, but I left a cracker on the ground. But that's the only time they ever left those rocks for me. So they do leave things, and yes, I agree. The glyphs, the symbols, they will put those on the ground, and it's very interesting. Maybe they're trying to communicate. So maybe in that sense, I should make something and leave it, but I wouldn't know what to do other than to spell my name out with sticks. I really wouldn't know what to do. But the next time that happens, I might just spell my name out with sticks right
Mm.
under it and just leave it there.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
I don't know.
River asks, do you think some boogers, so some Bigfoots or Yowies or
Oh,
whatever,
we listen. We call them boogers in the South. Yeah,
okay, boogers,
yeah.
um, have autism?
Now, I know there's one video where the way that one of them is moving is claimed that that was autistic, and I think certainly I'm not saying autism comes from inbreeding or anything like that, but certainly there's a smaller population of Bigfoot. If it's feral people or if it's First Nations people that are still living that didn't go on the Trail of Tears, there's a smaller pool there. So I think certainly things like autism or hereditary issues that may mimic autism, I'm sure it can come up. I think for the most part, though, that would be just like autism is rare, that would be really rare.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so I have another question. I have a question for you. Do you do most of your research at night or during the day?
I probably have went out in the day more than the night, but the night's a regular part of what I do, especially when I got a few days off, when I'm on vacation, and I make a 3-day weekend in particular. I pull more overnighters. I have thermal gear that we've modified to record all night long. So my thermal gear, I can get about 10 hours of recording on it,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll record all night long. I've done night hikes. I've even occasionally went into the woods without a camera, without anything metal
Mm-hmm.
or plastic, and done night hikes just to see if anything happened,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, night part is a big part of what I do. I've gotten a lot of evidence at night, and the whole thinking of using trail cameras beyond finding out what's in your area is that your trail camera can watch for you at nighttime when you're not there, and your audio recorder that records for 2 weeks, it'll pick up whatever audio's in that area at night too, without you being there. But I squatch a lot at night, and I definitely believe in squatching at night, no doubt about that.
Cool.
Yeah, because um, every every time of day has its um, perks and benefits when we go out in the woods. Um, like daylight, of course, you're going to be looking uh, a lot more for footprints, tree breaks, things like that. So you have that benefit in daylight. You can actually see everything without having to actually um, run into it on accident. But then your nighttime is crucial if you're doing really good research. The nighttime is when these things actually are up and about for the most part.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
if you're trying to get one on camera, you can get one on camera during the daytime, which um, you know Patterson Gimlin
Mhm.
daytime. um, and then we've had I've been a part of many lives where they were out at night and they've gotten
Mhm.
glimpses of these things. So
Mhm.
um, to you, what's the best time that you go out and you actually find more evidence?
I would say if you're talking about the daytime, I would probably say in the morning, in the daytime in the morning would be when I've had the most evidence, the most quote unquote activity around me. At night, I would probably say between 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. is when most things happen. We were actually up at Cades Cove not that long ago, and we were at the point, and Cades Cove is in Tennessee, and it's an 11-mile loop road that has some of the most prettiest views in the mountains you'll ever see. It's way out in the middle of nowhere, but there's a lot of tourists there.
Mm-hmm.
But they closed at night. But we were out there at night, so we were out. We had a spot at the campground, and so we were out there. So it was past midnight. So my squatching buddy, he got a bad feeling, and I trust his feelings. He got a really bad. He's like, man, we got to get out of here. Now I was on an electric bike, so I was biking, and they were in the SUV, and I was in front of them. So I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. So I got on my electric bike, and there's still miles to go. We're only like halfway through. So he wanted to get out of there. I'm having to bike, about 5 or 6 miles out of there on the electric bike. So we're zooming along, going through Cades Cove, and it's around, I'm thinking around 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. And all of a sudden I hear a bang, and they flash the light. So I see the lights flashing behind me. And I pull over to the side of the road, and they pull up beside me. They like something just threw a rock at the Suburban. And I'm like, what? He says something just threw a rock at the Suburban. He said, man, we really got to get out of here. I'm like, man, I'm pedaling as fast as I could pedal. So I'm like, well, let's go. So I pedaled, finished it, and I'm glad I got that badge now. I can say that I biked the Cades Cove Loop. I'm proud of that. Of course, I did it in the middle of the night when nobody's supposed to be out there to start with. So we got back to our camp, and we passed some rangers, and we're lucky the rangers didn't ask us where we were coming from. So we got back in our camp at about, I think it was about 15 to 2. And I said, well, Bob, before I got on my bike, when he said he had the bad feeling, I gave him my audio recorder. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, let's see if this got picked up on the audio recorder. So it did. So the audio recorder records the bang, the rock on the top of his SUV.
Uh-huh.
It recorded it, and then there was a dust mark going down the top down the window where it hit. So we actually recorded that. And that was, right before 1 a.m. So I think 1 a.m. to 4:30, we've had a lot of things happen. That's just the latest thing that happened. And we actually were able to document that.
Oh
When
yeah.
it hit, there was another guy in there with my squatching partner, and they were like, "What the bleep? What the bleep?" And I heard it. I heard it being in front of them. I heard the bang. So the next time we go up there, I pretty much know where that stretch of road was. I want to hang out there after dark, and I want to be there from 1 to 4 a.m.
Just
They
don't
can
get
drop.
caught
They can
out
drop.
there after dark, Dwight.
Yeah, they can drop me off and go back to the campground if they don't want to get in trouble with the rangers, and I'll just hang out there, see what happens. I won't be able to take my dog because you can't take your dog off the road at Cades Cove. The dog can be in the vehicle, but it can't go off the road because there's so much wildlife and rules. In a national park, the rules are different.
Yeah.
But I'll stay out there. That's one of my bucket list things that I'm wanting to do. But again, I would say between 1 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. at night. And then I just think in the daylight, in the early mornings, you might catch one trying to get back to where it came from the previous evening. You might catch them going back in the morning. I think you have a lot of morning sightings from motorists,
Yeah.
hikers, etc. In the morning time. So I think those two times are the biggest to me.
Yeah.
So, how far east have you ever gone squatching? I mean, not east,
Um,
west. You said you were up and down all the way on the East Coast, right? So, how
mhm.
far? I'm sorry. How far west have you ever gone
um,
squatching?
I think, it's hard for me to say for sure. I know Alabama ain't in the West, but I guess going inward, probably through Alabama is probably the farthest inward that I've been. My bucket list, though, I want to go to Boggy Creek.
Okay.
I want to go to the Patterson Gimlin film site. Since I was a kid, I can remember being in kindergarten, reading the school books and wanting to go to the redwood forest. So to go see the redwoods in California, that's on my bucket list. Obviously, Washington State, which maybe people say has the highest concentration of verified sightings and reports. I'd
Hmm.
like to go there. Of course, my buddy Trithena in Oklahoma. Trithena Davison is watching this. Hey, Trithena. She's from Coleman, Oklahoma. So she came down to Uwharrie a number of years ago. So I always told her one day I'm coming out to Oklahoma and I'm going to go squatching with you. And so
Well,
that's something I'd like to just visit with her, maybe squatch in her backyard.
hey, Dwight, if you ever make it to Oklahoma, let us know. We'll meet
Yeah.
somewhere.
You,
We,
you know, I keep saying every time I go on vacation, I might just zip up there. I've got a vacation in 2 weeks. I always got that on my mind. I never have, but I might just zip up there.
you might just zip up
Yeah.
there.
You.
Maybe I
You.
could go by Boggy Creek on my way to Oklahoma. Maybe I could work that out. Do Boggy Creek,
Yeah.
go to Oklahoma. Maybe that'll work. I
Yeah.
don't know.
We have a few places up here that
Most definitely.
we could definitely take you to, and um,
Okay.
got a new place. I never knew about this place until
A couple
a
weeks ago when
couple
you
weeks
went
ago.
fishing.
Yeah. We actually have a place that it has a familiar name. Um,
Of course, you're going to show them, ain't you?
yeah, I'm gonna show them.
Okay.
It has a very familiar name to.
So it's so funny. He went fishing with our future son-in-law Daniel, and he's like, "Babe, you'll never guess what I found." And I'm like, "What?" And show him.
Yeah.
Oh man, Bluff Creek in Oklahoma. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So it's
You
it's
know what?
called.
That might be a sign right there. That might be a sign that something's down there.
Well, I haven't released the video yet.
Yeah, he's
but,
working on it. But
I went about 30 yards in, and as soon as I stopped at 30 yards in, off to my right, there were 3 tree knocks.
Oh man.
And that was in broad daylight.
Ain't it funny how many times fishermen have sightings? So many sightings have come from fishermen out fishing. It's really amazing. I always like to hear the ones where they're in their boat and the big rocks get thrown in the water. Splash, splash. I always like, and you can see some people tell that story and they're scared. And you know that happened, but going out fishing, again, the berry pickers that go way out in the woods to pick berries, they have encounters.
hey,
You ain't
Dave.
even
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Hang on, Dwight. How was it fishing today?
Shitty. They were playing cat and mouse.
The fish were playing cat and mouse. Did you see anything else out there?
Not really.
Was it squatchy though?
A little bit.
Did you have a feeling?
No.
No, you didn't have any feeling. Okay. He went out fishing today.
Tell him to go fishing with some red hot dogs. With some
Red
hot dogs, you'll catch something.
Red hot. So Jack Links, or not Jack Links, Hot Links.
Yeah, hot links. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Friends with Monsters says mushroom pickers too. So in other words, if they're picking mushrooms, heck yeah.
Yeah, berry pickers, mushroom pickers. There's a lot of mushrooms in the Uwari area, but also in Pisgah National Forest. There's a lot of mushrooms that you can eat at certain times of the year. You could practically live out there off of mushrooms. There's a lot of them out there in North Carolina.
So we have some more friends that popped in. Hello, Face the Ace. Hello, Shell. Hello, Friends with Monsters. Who else I saw? John P. How's it going? Hey, John Milam, how you doing? So a few people in there. It's so good to have you.
Hello, everybody.
I'm giving up looking for Sasquatch. I'm going foraging for mushrooms. Friends with Monsters says. Well.
You know what they say? They say that you don't find Bigfoot. Bigfoot finds you, and yeah, I mean, you could be going out there doing something else and having encounters. So.
Right? They'll come up behind you and go, okay, sorry.
Yeah, you could be just out looking at the stars, and all of a sudden they pop right up next to you.
Yeah,
They say that Bigfoot likes to do something that Indians like to do, and that's called counting coup. And counting coup was when they would get up on their enemies and maybe touch them without the enemy knowing it, and that Bigfoot's done that. I think that may have happened to me. I don't have the picture of it, but if I come on again, I want to tell that story and show the picture. I put that picture on my TikTok, and it got 1 million views.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
That's my biggest viewed one. And I'll put the story of Captain Coup with the picture on TikTok, and I'll have to start carrying that picture with me. But I believe one may have touched my hand when I was changing out a trail cam card, and the camera caught it right before I turned it off and switched the card over.
Oh wow.
So,
Wow.
Yeah.
the Indians called that counting coup.
I have a buddy that does Bigfoot research, and one night he was doing a live, and he had his fire pit going in his backyard, and he was telling everybody, he's like, yeah, just watch this, and he's sitting there, and the smoke's coming up around him, and all of a sudden, right beside him, the smoke made an outline of a cone-shaped head. And then you could actually see the facial features of what.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Dang, that's cool right there.
Oh yeah, and he was watching himself on his live, with his other phone, and he sees that, and he's like, you guys see what I see? And I'm sitting there going, yeah, there's something standing right behind you.
Dang, man, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh
I
yeah.
wish I could have something like that happen. That'd be really cool right there.
Yeah.
No, I like it. There's nothing like a good campfire.
Oh
There's
yeah.
nothing like a good campfire. A lot of times, if you build a campfire, if they're in the area, they'll come in and just watch it. They watch people at campfires.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they feel like they can kind of do that incognito because outside of the fire, you don't really have a long range vision. They feel like they can come in a little close and watch people by fires. And so
Yeah.
we've got on thermal, we got our thermals. We've actually got a remote control tripod, and so we'll be sitting at the fire, and we'll have the thermal pointed backwards out into the woods to
Mm-hmm.
see if they're watching us. And we've caught some little hits here and there moving between the trees. We've caught that where you try to trick them into thinking that they're behind you, but you've actually got the camera pointed behind you too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good little technique we like to use. But we like the night sit though. We like to sit and let them come in on us. That's a technique that when it was first presented to me by my squatching partner, I'm like, I just thought to myself, I don't know. You kind of got to go get out there. But that
Mm-hmm.
technique works. You can even go just a little bit off of a road and find a
Yeah.
nice spot, build a little fire, and sit there. And if they're in the area, they'll come in on you. That's a really good
Oh yeah.
technique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question. I'll let you read it.
Okay. It's by who?
It's
Sixth
from
Sense.
Kevin. Yeah, it's from
Kevin. Okay.
Sixth Sense. Yeah.
He says, since there's only one fossil record of Gigantopithecus, do you think are one in the same, but they classified it differently because they don't want proof of Bigfoot?
I think with Giganopithecus, there's a whole lot of things that are still unknown about it. There's some people that think Giganopithecus moved very much like a mountain gorilla moves. And then, Grover Krantz felt that with the spacing of the jaw, the way the jaw was spaced,
Mm-hmm.
he felt that it walked on two legs. Now, there's not just one fossil record of Gigantopithecus. There have been other bones and teeth that were found, and they found them because the people in China will take those bones, grind them down, and they'll sell the powders, and that's kind of how they first found it.
Mm-hmm.
But they know that Gigantopithecus was real; it exists. There's a theory that it crossed the Bering Land Bridge, which is now underwater, but
Mm-hmm.
they crossed the Bering Land Bridge to get to where we're at, and that's how Bigfoot came to be and came to be over here. But certainly, there's always been some debate. Did Gigantopithecus walk on two legs?
Mm-hmm.
Was it on four legs? I think Grover Krantz really established that it could definitely be on two legs. And then you got different, of the Homo species, Homo erectus,
Mm-hmm.
and Homo, what is it, Homo bergasius or something like
Yeah.
that. Robin Moonshadow really schooled me on a lot of this stuff, and I half listened to some of it, admittedly. But yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that Bigfoot, follows that lineage, follows that line. And I think there's could be more than one type of Bigfoot, but there is certainly is the relic hominid that comes out of all that. But I think with Gigantopithecus, I think that's still a very good theory, and I think that if Gigantopithecus made it over here and Bigfoot's descended, I think there will be some differences between what Bigfoot is now and what Gigantopithecus was back in that day. So you
Right.
got to account for that too. So.
Right. Yeah. The theory about the land bridge, all that. There's also those theories, even in the Far East, where you have a lot of those islands where they've found evidence of uh, ancient um, bipedals and possibly current bipedals. Um, the water levels of the Earth over over a long period of time have been different levels. So
Hmm.
at one time or another, these islands weren't islands; they were all part of um, one big landmass. So
Yeah.
these things being able to travel, I can see that they would find evidence that they did travel to a certain area, and we all know that the landmass between Russia and Alaska at one time had um, a clear path of land to walk on, and then all those islands south of it were all connected. It's all volcanic area, and in volcanic areas, water levels tend to change back and forth over time. So,
They found the bones of the proto pygmies on that one island just here recently, that showed that there were real life little people, and
hmm
I don't know if they got trapped on that island or what it was, but they found evidence. So yeah, what you're saying is totally accurate. You're saying it better than I could say it too, by the way.
yeah. So that's a perfect segue into my next question. So have you seen little people?
I got a couple of pieces of evidence, photographs. I didn't know what it was at the time. When I first met Robin Moonshadow, she told me that they were little people, and she even specifically named the name. So in the South Mountain areas, I got a picture. I called it the Gollum picture because something was rustling through the rhododendron by a creek,
hmm
and I took a picture of it, and I could barely make out the head, and the head moved away, and it went up the hill, went behind some rocks.
hmm
When I blew up the picture, it looked like a golem from Lord of the Rings, a type deal. It had a bald head, and it had really big eyes, and then smaller nose and mouth, and
hmm
it looked like it had some age on it. And she was blown away by that picture. That's actually what got me talking to Robin, and she was really blown away by that picture. And I
hmm
got one other of one behind the foliage, and just a face picture of it, and it was a different one, but it looked somewhat similar to that. And then I got a third one up near Virginia. It's still in North Carolina, but below the Virginia border, that I thought might be like a juvenile Sasquatch.
hmm
And I'm having a hard time remembering which one she called that. There's different names for these little people, but that was the more dangerous type of little person that she called it. His name is just escaping me. Any other time I'd have it right on,
Yeah,
right in my mind.
friends with
But yeah, I
monsters.
have I have caught some evidence of little people. I guess the the best visual I had was that one in the South Mountains, and then I saw one that was running between the trees. It was kind of skipping and hopping, but it
hmm
was all hairy, and it was red hair. I don't know. To this day, I don't know if that's a little person or not, but I got half its face on a picture documented.
hmm
Um, but I don't know to this day what it was though. It was
Yeah,
very
friends with
small though.
monsters says moon-eyed people. Um, if you've heard
Yeah,
of those.
yeah, the Moon-Eyed people. There's legends of the Cherokee
Mm-hmm.
Moon-Eyed people, and they were friends with the Cherokee, and then at some point in time, they weren't anymore. They fell out. I forget the exact reasons why, but they're within 1 hour of where I live. There are stories of people sighting and seeing the moon-eyed people. So that's a big legend in Appalachia, and I definitely believe that they exist. And like I said, I got one picture of a little person with the bigger eyes, the Cherokee little people, which would also be known as the Moon-eyed people.
Mm-hmm.
They call them the moon-eyed people because their eyes are bigger in the sockets. Is that what?
And yeah,
they're...
they can see really well at night.
Yeah.
And like I said, for some reason, they had traded and lived with the Cherokee people. And I forget the exact story, and I can kick myself for that because I should really know that. This is my area. But they fell out with the Cherokee people, and they retreated away from them, as the story goes.
Okay. Do you think or believe that Sasquatch or Bigfoot cloak?
I think they have a natural ghillie suit, as we were talking earlier, in terms of croaking like the predator with mechanical devices, disappearing or jumping in a portal, out of a portal. I don't believe in that. No, I believe that they're flesh and blood. They're real. I've documented evidence of them, but I believe they have a natural ghillie suit. And from a tactical standpoint, the Green Berets can't touch these guys. The Navy SEALs can't touch them. They were born and bred out in the woods. It's natural to them, but they're also smart and intelligent. They're very tactical. I know I've had situations where I've known one was close, and I would see one going in between tree to tree. All of a sudden, every time I hear something, my dog's looking, the sun's in my face. So they're keeping the sun right in my face
Mm-hmm.
as they're trying to either A, watch me or get out of my area. They're extremely tactical. And then because they're that way, people really believe that they cloak or whatever. But I will say this: I'm not going to call nobody a liar that said that they disappeared in the thin air. If that's what you saw, I'm not going to say you're lying. In my experience, I think that they're able to cloak themselves from the standpoint of using everything naturally around them to cloak and to disappear. I don't believe that they can literally have the power to vanish in the thin air. And I've never had one zap me, although a lot of my friends have their badge of honor of being zapped with infrasound. I've been in close proximity, no doubt. I've never been zapped, so I'm waiting to get my zapped experience. Until then, I can't vouch for the fact that they can zap people either.
Okay. So earlier you said that they like to watch people. They're people watchers, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I can kind of contest to this. So there was one time we were out in our area where we go researching, and Harold had gone off with the property owner to go looking and seeing what they could search, and I stayed back. Obviously, I had what little bit of protection I could have. In other words, I had like bear spray or pepper spray and a sharp stick and my cell phone and a walkie-talkie. Okay. And I'm sitting there in a chair, just listening. You know, birds, squirrels, all that. I was sitting not too far from the edge of a cliff. There was a ravine or a river or a creek or whatever behind me, and then there was trees on the other side of me. While I was sitting one way, and I'm like, okay, I think there's something behind me. And so I get up, walk around, make sure there was nothing there, and I was like, I'm going to move my chair around to face so my back was towards the creek, because I could have swore to goodness there was something walking up behind me. And if you watch the video, you hear me. So I hear footsteps. Okay, so I get up and walk around and go sit back down. And it's like I really hear footsteps. And there's one point in the video I went, "Hello, hello," and there was nothing there. And so I was like, okay, I'm not freaked out. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to turn my thing around, turn my chair around so I could see what's coming at me. Nothing happened after that, but in the video, you could hear the footsteps.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so as far as you saying, yeah, you've had the people watchers, and then nothing be there.
But there's one thing she left out.
Wait, and so I can contest to that they people watch, but they kind of like you said, they blend in so well. Even if they were there, you couldn't really see them anyway.
Yeah, no,
Now,
you couldn't really
Yeah.
see him. Yeah.
When she says she turned her chair around and then she was hearing footsteps and all that. Well, when she sat down was one thing, but she got up and she's taking pictures even of over the cliff. Now, when I reviewed the pictures and I pointed it out to her, I'm like, look, they were climbing up the cliff towards you. She had
I don't
there's
doubt that. Yeah.
yeah, there was at least two juveniles that were climbing up the cliff, so she was surrounded by them, and they were just curious, just
Yeah.
curious.
No, I have a similar incident to that. So this area that we call the field, and we've gotten a lot of documentation over the course of time at the field. There's a hill behind the field, so we were like, we're going to climb up to the top of that hill and stand out there for the night. So we started climbing up the hill, and that hill ended up being a whole lot damn higher than what we thought. So we got to a point where we're on the side of the hill, the side of the mountain,
Hmm.
but there's a little spot. We're wore out because we're carrying airport luggage up there. We got all kinds of gear. So we dug out a spot, put our chair right there, and we looked at each other, and he's like 3 feet, 4 feet from me. And I'm like, if we nod off and go to sleep tonight, we're tumbling all the way down this mountain. That's not going to be good. We're going to have to stay awake. So during the course of that night, it got dark. We had a good view of the field and the mountains way, way across from us. And we started seeing lights go down in the mountain and come up above, rise up above the mountain, go down into the mountain. And we started hearing things. And I counted 18 wood knocks that night.
Oh
So
wow!
in the middle of all this, at about 3 in the morning, something creaked down behind me. I heard it. And Bob's like, "There's something right behind you." I know. I hear it. And I'm like, "Let's just wait." So it got quiet and nothing happened. Then we heard something coming down the mountain right behind Bob. And I'm like, "Let's just be quiet." Bob, he couldn't be quiet. That's my squatching buddy. He got up out of his chair. Remember, he can't take too many steps around or he's
right.
tumbling down. He turns right around. He says, "I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're there and you better leave." And he's pointing. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, "Oh, man." And you slowly heard it. You slowly heard, you could barely hear it getting out of there. He sat back down, and what you just said just reminded me of that night. And my camera, I had recorded a lot of the night. When them lights came up and down, my camera batteries were dead, and that kind of taught me to always have extra batteries. And now I keep extra batteries. But on one hand, we had lights going up and down from the mountain far in front of us. We had things creeping behind us, and I counted 18 wood knocks coming from different directions that night sitting on the hill. We always said we would go back and sit there again, but it was so hard getting up there. It's been, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 years now. We hadn't went back yet. But still would like to do that on that hill one night. But
Hmm.
it just tripped me out when he stood up and he told him to get back off of him. It was amazing. And the thing about it is, you were talking about they climbed the cliffs. If you saw them and chased them, you couldn't chase them down them cliffs. On our
Right.
end, they were coming down the mountain. We went as high up that hill as we could. We couldn't turn around and run up that hill and chase them. If they got a good escape route, they may
Hmm.
get very close to you if they know that they can be gone in a minute and they
Hmm.
know physically you would never be able to chase them at
Right.
all. So that's
Yep.
one reason why they get so close. And that's why they got close to you that time.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't chase nothing. So I don't run very fast. Let me tell you. And yeah,
I don't either. I mean, I can walk all day and all night, but I don't run anymore. In the last few years, I've ran one time, And that's when Fendi stuck her nose in some leaves, and all of a sudden, like a funnel, a bunch of yellow jackets came up out of the ground.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
been the only time I saw it, and I ran like hell. I turned back the time back to my 4.440 days, and man, I ran like hell. And I was lucky because a lot of times I will wear flip flops and I will wear shorts too. That
Oh
day I
wow.
had boots and I had blue jeans on. When I ran as far as I could run and I stopped, there were about 15 yellow jackets on my blue jean pants legs, and they were already not moving. I don't know if I guess they'd used all their stingers on the blue jeans, and I just brushed them off. But if
Mhm.
I had been in flip flops and shorts, my ass would be grass. I would have been in some big trouble. So
Yeah.
I'm lucky that day. But in the last few years, that's the only time I ran was from them bees. And yellow jackets, I guess y'all got them in Oklahoma. Yellow jackets ain't nothing to play with now.
No.
Nope.
They small, but hey, you just don't have to fight one yellow jacket. You got to fight about 300 of them mofos. I mean,
Me
Yeah.
they
too.
serious now.
Yeah.
Are you
I'd rather run into a snarling Bigfoot than run into a yellow jacket now.
Hmm.
No
are,
doubt.
are you allergic to them?
I'm not allergic to where if one stings me, I'm gonna like die and get super sick. But I've been stung. I guess the worst stinging episode I had was with hornets. I had 14 hornet stings on my back.
Oh boy.
But I didn't get especially sick. I was just discomforted. So I'm not especially allergic. But if I get one sting, I will swell and puff up slightly. You
Hmm.
Okay.
know.
Well, at
So.
least that you don't have to have an EpiPen or anything like that. That's a good
Yeah.
thing. Oh my goodness. So, Friends with Monsters just said Bigfoot and Dogmen I love, but yellow jackets and water moccasins are the worst.
I had a water moccasin swim between my legs.
Oh goodness.
I was down in the creek and it swum right between my legs and kept on going. I really don't like snakes. I'll be honest with you. I don't like them at all.
No, neither do I. Neither do I. So,
I like them as long as they leave me alone.
so does anyone else have any questions for Dwight? This has been a very interesting interview, and we would love to have you back on.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
so much on like a special interview, but come in, pop in our Wednesday night chats where we talk Bigfoot and stuff. So Bigfoot, cryptids, paranormal, anything like that. But there's other things we talk about.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I'm on vacation, I'll keep that in mind. I do work weekdays at nighttime,
Hmm.
so I'm
Okay.
off on Fridays and Saturdays. But I work all
Nice.
night long. But if I'm on vacation on a Wednesday, I'll keep that in mind and try to pop in on the show.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be sweet. There's lots of people. Well, not lots of people, but we have more, I guess, fun interaction. I don't know. I want to call it that either, but
Yeah,
Well, I want to show y'all another picture I
sure,
got. So
show
I
us.
was hiking on a creek, and at that point in time, I had both my dogs. This was a number of years ago,
hmm
and they were off the leash, and they came running back to me. And I was filming, and I was going through rhododendron. It was really difficult going, and I got a picture of a Bigfoot snarling at me. I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see it's baring its teeth at me. You can see its head, and you can see its body on there.
Oh,
Now, I don't know how well that shows on this picture, but that's one of the better pictures that I've got of one. On the picture itself, it shows pretty good.
hmm
And I saw it, and I saw it turn around, and it stayed down on what looked like four legs and
hmm
went back through the rhododendron and got away. And my dog stayed with me the rest of that time. And for both of them together to do that, that's like one of the one or two times that they just would not run off. And I just ended up leashing them back to me right after that. And they
Yeah.
were just looking around and real wary from that point forward. So
hmm
now I've been back on that creek a number of times and gotten some good evidence over the years. I still have a trail cam on that creek. I actually caught a picture of a bear dragging a big deer across that creek on the trail camera, which is
Wow.
one of the best trail cam pics I ever got. So,
Oh wow.
That's cool.
yeah.
Hi, puppy. I hear you.
Yeah, she's barking at me. I think she probably wants to go outside, but she'll be fine. I'll let her outside later and let her run around.
Let her
But
run
that's
around.
Fendi, though. That's the Squatch dog.
Oh. Well,
Yeah. One time I had my dog outside and it got dark, and um, I usually take her back behind the house, and there's some trees back there, and it gets pitch black dark, right? You can't even see very far at all. Um, I take her back there, and she stops, and she's a Gerberian Shepsky lab mix, right? So
Okay.
um, she alerted, and did the point and everything, and she was perfectly still, and she got growled at. She got growled at, and then she growled back. And when she growled back, um, she saw this thing move. So I'm like, immediately, I'm like, oh nope, you're not eating my dog. You're not eating my dog, because I knew who it was. I have
Uh-huh.
there's a female Sasquatch that hangs around, so I knew it was her, but I couldn't see her. So I take the dog inside, and I come back outside, and I do a flash picture with my cell phone, and man, sure enough, it was her sitting back there. She has this. There's this board I had back there, and she would use that to grind things on.
Mhm.
So she had this little stick that she would use um, for grinding up little uh, herbs and whatever.
Mhm.
She left me the stick after that. Um,
Okay, that's cool.
she left me the stick, and on one side it's got like a spoon shape, and on the other side it's a little flat. So I had the picture, and um, it's not very clear of her, being that it's at night and it's with my old phone. But she's sitting there, and she's a lot heavier than she was when I first met met her, and
Mhm.
she had a baby at that time when I first met her. Well, that baby also came up here with her, and yeah, he's not such a baby anymore. But since she came and followed me up here, she's had three other offspring, and they're now getting into their adult phase. So they're all over 6 feet tall. Um,
Dang.
they hang around here. They were really rambunctious when they were still adolescent, but now that they're 6 feet tall, they can look into windows without having to climb. but but ever since that dog got growled at, now when she goes back there, she's always alert. She's always looking
Mhm.
around. She loves going
Oh,
back
yeah.
there, but she's very alert. So I told her, I told her, I said, I've already talked to them. You don't have to worry. They're not going to bother you, and they don't. They don't bother her. She just knows when they're around.
That brings up a point. I've had two similar experiences when you start talking about tool usage.
Hmm.
So I was in Pisgah National Forest, and I came up on an old stump, and there were a bunch of pecans that were broke open, and right beside the stump was a rock, and on the bottom of the rock was the shavings from the pecans. So something had been using that rock to knock open pecans and eat them. And then when me and Robin Moonshiner was in the Adirondacks, we saw the same thing with a different some kind of nut. I don't know what type of nut it was, and it was a rock, and it was being used to break that open. So, bears ain't gonna do that. I mean, it's either got to be a person doing that
Hmm.
or a Bigfoot, and there. I was so far off trail, in both cases, so far off trail, out in the middle of nowhere. I really don't believe it was a person that was doing that with the rock. It was
Mhm.
just like a hand picked, perfect rock. There's no other rocks around in the area, but it's used for that purpose, and it's
Yeah.
right there at that pecan tree. And that just, to me, that was just one of the better finds that I got, just on the circumstances.
Mhm.
I know what was doing that. I really feel like I really know it was the Bigfoot that was doing that and using that as a tool.
Mhm.
I don't see the picture. I was looking on our page for it, and I
Oh.
didn't see the picture on there. I was going to show him, but
Oh. Yeah. I- I'll send you that picture later too of the one I
Okay.
got of her sitting, and she has something sitting on her shoulder when she's sitting.
Okay.
So it's it's it was very intriguing to me because it didn't look like
be
the
careful.
the baby that she had when I first met her down in Lawton.
Uh-huh.
I actually got to stare that baby in the face. So
Oh man, that's awesome.
yeah, two doves sitting in the tree. They always use that tree, you know. They nest in that tree. Well, that night there was only one dove up in the tree, and I was looking at it, and I look over to the side, and I see two beady eyes looking down at me, and I focus, and sure enough, it looks like a baby ape
Oh
looking
man.
right down at
You,
me.
you, you ever heard of the New York Bigfoot video, the baby Bigfoot video where it's swinging in the trees?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the best documentations I've seen
Yeah.
of a baby Bigfoot. That's amazing. I want to show another picture to you. So I
Sure.
got one with its back turned to me on night vision in the South Mountains. There's one that we call the corn squat, and it's in the
Oh, wow.
corn right there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
got its back turned, and that's one of the better. And this is a still frame from a video. It's
Mm-hmm.
there, and on the video, then it's gone, and that's its whole back area right there, and that's the head up
Mm-hmm.
there, and it's just got its back to it.
Oh
And
wow.
then on another occasion, this is also from a video, and you can actually see it move back. That's its face right there, but you can actually see its face and its ear. You see
Mm-hmm.
its ear, its nose, its face.
Yeah.
And in the video, it actually pulls back into the darkness in the corn, but that's the best still frame that we got. We call that the corn squatch, and it's
Mm-hmm.
somewhat human looking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and my buddy Bob, he got that piece of documentation. I got the one where it's showing its back to us. But
Oh.
that's from night sitting. That's from just sitting out in the cornfield. And this cornfield is something that the U.S. Forest Service, it grows the corn for hunting. So
Mm-hmm.
hunters will get around that field and hunt. And
Yeah.
when it's not hunting season, there'll still be some corn husks out there, and they'll be eating them. And we sit out there, and they come into us.
Oh
And so
yeah.
we've gotten some really good evidence over the years, and also the best examples of smelling the pissy, stink, rotten egg smell has been
Mm-hmm.
at that field. We smelled it at that field and had a lot of wood knocks and actually recorded some really hellacious wood knocks. They sound like Babe Ruth connecting with a 600-foot home run. Some really nice wood knocks in that area.
Okay, so hopefully you can see this. This was actually taken in our neighbor's tree, which is across to the west of us. See if I can show
Yeah,
it. It's right. Oops, hang on.
I doubt you when you just flashed it. I think I saw. I think I saw what you're talking about.
It's right in the middle.
Uh huh. Yeah, I see that. I see that. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's
That's
nice.
Here's
what.
the full picture. I want to show them the full picture
Mm-hmm.
so you guys get the grasp the idea of. Let's see if I can do this without it glaring. That's the full picture. You can see the tops of
Mhm.
the neighbors. So that's the big
I
tree.
see that. Yeah.
So, like, right smack in the middle of that damn old tree
Mhm.
was a freaking Sasquatch sitting right there, right in the middle of it.
They'll get up in trees and watch people,
Yeah. And of course, it's
and
like
also watch
smack in the
prey,
middle
just
of the
like
day.
a hunter is sitting a deer stand. You know.
Mhm.
Right smack in the middle of the day.
We've also gotten reports that Bigfoot's come on the farms and opened up rabbit cages,
Mhm.
and out in the woods. My buddy, he makes coon traps, and he's got some a trail camera on the coon trap where there's fur in front of the trail camera, and you can't see nothing.
Mhm.
And there was a coon in there. Next picture, there's fur in front of it. The next picture, and these are all time stamped, coons out of the cage. So he thinks that Bigfoot covered the trail camera, and another one got the coon out of the cage. But he's got it all time stamped though. He's
That's
got the
hilarious.
pictures time stamped. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
He
He said if
told
I
us.
didn't, uh,
Go ahead.
yeah, he said if I didn't have this time stamped, I couldn't even tell that story.
Mhm.
But even though I got it time stamped, some people still ain't gonna believe it. But I think that's just amazing, man. It really is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't believe half the stuff that sometimes we talk about. And it's just because they are skeptic and
Mhm.
maybe afraid of not knowing what's actually out there in the night
Right.
or in the woods or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent y'all a picture on TikTok of some eyes that were looking up at me.
Mhm.
And in that area, that same area, the eyes are at the bottom of a creek. I'm standing up on a cliff, and you can see the one eye's eye shine. The other eye, you can see the white of its eye, and you can see where it's looking up at the top. In that same area, we found this structure right here
Oh,
where they
wow.
where they bent over
Yes.
a stump and they made a hut. I can actually turn around and crawl in there, but in
Yeah.
front of it, they weave sticks in and out in front of it to cover it. It was right in that area where I got the eyes looking up at me. In fact, I didn't notice that at the time, but the lady from Oklahoma that's friends of mine, she pointed out the eyes that were in the shadows, and that's when I noticed it. That's when I noticed them eyes. But this
Mhm.
hut was no more than 50 yards from that cliff in the creek.
Mhm.
And
That is
that
so.
wasn't made by a man. A man didn't make that hut. That's not man made.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, so
and
we
that
got
that
here.
was in an area called Buffalo Creek Game Land
Oh yeah.
in North Carolina. It's kind of an isolated little game land area.
No,
So
the picture you sent me. Can I show it on here?
yeah, you can show. I sent that so you could show it. You could
All
post
right.
it up and show it. I want you asked to see something, and I know it's kind of a butthole and say I don't like to share stuff online, but I thought I'd share that one online. That legit is one of the better pieces of evidence that I've gotten. You can see them eyes. You can see how it's looking up at me. It's below me,
Yeah.
and that's the cropped in version and not the far away version. But I'm
Right.
standing above it, and that eye is looking up, and the other eye though is in the shadows, and it's reflecting.
Mhm.
That's
And
so
they're
cool.
far up. Those eyes are far apart. You can barely kind of see some of the outline of its head. I think that might be a dog man or a large canine, is what I think.
Yeah, because I can see on the eye that's not reflecting.
Hmm.
You can kind of see the orbital area.
You can
Have the
see it pretty
temple.
good. Yeah.
You have the temple area and the orbital area, and you can actually make that out a little bit.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's an excellent photo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and again, my buddy Trithena from Oklahoma pointed that out to me. I really didn't see that at the time that I was taking that video. I did not see it.
Okay, here's the one that's not
Cropped in.
cropped
Yeah,
in.
that's the one from
Yeah.
far away, and you
Yeah.
can see I'm standing up above it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That I really like that photo because I can see
Hmm.
a lot of detail.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of times, you'll get pictures like this and you can't make out anything because it's so pitch black in there. But
Yeah, yeah. Everything's for what it is, it's pretty clear. It's a pretty clear
Yeah.
photograph for what, and it's actually a still frame from a video.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got the video to it, and that's a still frame from the video.
And so, not just me, but many other researchers have come across stuff like that out in the woods, and a lot of times you just get a glimpse of it and then it's gone. So when you get a picture of it, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to. I'm trying to get better and better evidence. That's what I live for,
Yeah.
And if I don't get evidence, I still enjoy myself being out in the woods
Oh yeah.
and spending time with my dog and some of my buddies. I shout out some of my buddies, Bob Trent. He's a good buddy of mine. Tim Deals, Jerry Millwood. They're all good friends of mine, and I squatch by myself, but I squatch with them as
Yeah.
well and enjoy my time with them. But if we don't get evidence, I still love the woods, man. There's just something about the woods that
Oh yeah.
I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just enjoying myself when I'm out.
Right.
Yeah.
When you said you work with a graveyard shift or a night overnight shift, sometimes you just get bogged down on what you're doing day after day after day. And you outside in the woods, you can just be yourself and be in touch with God and what the creation and whatever. So I get it.
Yeah.
And man, you live in a perfect spot where you could just go out and look up the mountains and all that stuff. Man, one day when I retire, I'm telling y'all, when I retire, I'm retiring the damn mountains. I am.
Yeah. One thing about the area I'm in North Carolina, in 3 hours I can be at Myrtle Beach. I know you probably heard of Myrtle
Oh,
Beach,
yeah.
North Carolina. And in an hour and a half, I can be up in the big mountains in an hour and a half. So I've got the beach, I got the mountains. There was actually a BFRO sighting down at Huntington Beach State Park, which is in South Carolina. It looks so much like the jungle down there. They actually filmed parts of Forrest Gump there. And I got a trail camera that I haven't visited in 2 years that's sitting right down in that area. And it looks like the damn jungle down there. And one day I might have to go back and get that trail camera.
Yeah.
But we actually looked where they had that sighting at. And we were like, holy moly, these woods, they're more like a jungle than a woods. And that was at the beach in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of the skunk ape sightings down there in that area. If you go down even further along where Georgia's at and everything, you got a lot of this, and down into Florida, that's where the skunk apes are, up and down the coast right by the beach,
Yeah.
So, mark my word, one day I'm going to live in the mountains, whether it be the mountains in Oklahoma, mountains in Colorado, mountains in British Columbia.
Yeah, British Columbia is on my bucket list. The only thing that scares me about British Columbia is they got grizzly bears. That's the only thing that scares. That's the one thing I'm glad we don't have in North Carolina. I feel like I can actually fight a black bear if I have to. I can't fight no grizzly bear. I'm gonna be dead meat if I run into one of them. But I would love to go to British Columbia as well. So many great historic Bigfoot sightings.
Yep.
You just got the feeling that like the 10 feet tall Bigfoots are in British Columbia.
Yeah. Yeah. We know a couple of people that have gone up in there and had face to face with Bigfoot, and they're like, yeah, you don't want to go.
I want to go. That's where I want to
be. The Bigfoot researcher in him wants to go for the Bigfoot research. Me, I just want to go see.
I want to go for the fishing too.
Well, the fishing. Well, there's things out there, but yeah, it's that's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Get out. I want to live in the country, but I want to live where I can see the mountains. Have a sunset over the mountains. Just things like that. I know I'm kind of weird and quirky, but.
Yeah, so she can do the Bigfoot watching from the porch.
Yep.
And I have to be the one going out in the woods.
No, just sit outside and listen. Like you said, just sit out there, listen to them. Don't have to go searching for them. They'll come to you.
Yeah, they might come and slap the window at your house.
Oh,
they do already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do already. I think every curtain in my house has or every window in my house has a curtain except for my bathroom window.
Mm.
They like to look in.
Yeah, I kind of got the
Ugh.
third degree from the kids because we were all sitting out here one time at noon watching TV in the living room, and there was a big slap on the side of the house.
Oh man.
I ran
Mm.
outside. Um, Somebody else ran the other way, and we went clear around the house. Nothing there, and I come back inside, and they're like, "Dad, you brought him with you."
You know,
They,
there are a lot of stories that they follow people home, and people wonder how that could even be possible. But I've heard that more than one time, so it definitely makes you think. Do y'all have any outside lights around the house?
a front porch light. That's it.
We
Hmm.
have
Yep.
front and back porch lights,
Yep.
or
I'm
back.
saying in instances where they may slap the house, I put a trail camera up high. I'd find some spot and put it way up high
Hmm.
and point it down. You might catch some evidence.
Well,
You might
um,
catch something.
I I did have a trail camera in the back after that. I
Hmm.
put it up on the shed that used to be up. I put it at about the 6 foot mark, and I pointed it down at some treats that I left out. Well,
Uh-huh.
the treats were not touched, but
Hmm.
our cat Mo, our orange tabby cat, was on the trail cam on the ground munching on something, and then something was standing right behind the trail cam, like it was almost leaning against it, and it was
Uh-huh.
munching down on something. You could hear
Oh
that.
man. Man.
Yeah.
And the thing is that he said the treats were not just ripped apart; they were actually
Uh-huh.
opened,
Hmm.
Hmm.
not ripped
That's
apart,
cool.
like the cat was ripped
Yeah.
apart or
Like
whatever.
some fingers took it and pulled it apart and opened it up.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know.
But whatever it was eating, it shared with the cat. So um,
Hmm.
that was the first incident of the
That's
interaction with
cool though.
the cat. The
Hmm.
second incident was I was out doing a um, a night live outside, and I had the night vision on, and I got a cat in in the view of the camera, and I'm telling people on the live, I'm like, oh, what is that? Ooh, is that a cat? As soon as I said that, now it doesn't come over the mic on the camera because it's all static right then and there. When I asked that question, the response was just static on camera, but in my ear, I heard behind me something like, yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and then I turn around and I get the eye shine on the camera. The eye shine is about between 6 and 7 feet, and there's no trees where the eye shine was coming from, so there's no chance of a cat sitting on the fence that used to be there or on a tree branch. But our cat comes walking around the corner towards me, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, Mo," and I shine the camera back up, and that eye shine's still staring right at me.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I think that scared me pretty damn good right there.
yeah, but I I believe that that's the baby that I saw face to face.
Hmm.
I believe
Hmm.
I believe that was him, and uh, he's familiar with me,
Hmm.
and he likes animals because he liked my dog down in Lawton.
And,
He's
yeah.
familiar with them. He's real gentle with them because whenever they hear him coming around, they don't get scared. They
Hmm.
actually go towards the woods when they hear him. But when these other creatures come around, yeah, they're like, you know,
That- That's
yeah.
pretty damn cool. I think I've heard a few stories where they kind of befriended some dogs before.
Mhm.
Heard one or two like that, somewhat like that. That's interesting.
Well,
Oh, my cats,
sorry.
our cats always follow me when I go out there to do a live. They're at my feet. They're actually walking out into the field to go
Hmm.
across to the woodland that I film at. they're all over the place, and they're actually looking as I'm looking, so they're just as intrigued as me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, Dwight, we've had you on for 2 hours. It doesn't feel like 2 hours, but it's been two
No, it sure
hours, my
don't.
friend.
It
Um,
went by pretty smooth, man. I
Yep.
enjoyed it.
yeah, and it sounds like your puppy dog really needs to go outside and get some food or kibble or
Yeah.
whatever it may
Yeah.
be.
You might want to get at that possum we got in the backyard, maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you got planned next, and we'll let you take care of your little one.
Okay. Well, on social media, I'm Dwight Campbell on Facebook. I got a Dwight Campbell YouTube channel. I also go by Squatcher X on another YouTube channel, Carolina Bigfoot. Me and my buddy, we're on YouTube on a channel called Sasquatch Recon,
Hmm.
Okay.
and he posts videos up there of things that we've done, and he's actually went over some of the evidence that we got and made videos of it, and that's something he's continuing to work on. What I got planned next? Yeah, I got vacation time coming up, so I'm definitely going to be out in the woods. I definitely want to hit Cades Cove up again, and do some things up there. I also would like to get up to West Virginia. There's a couple of areas that I'm curious about that I haven't been to before. Then I would like to go squatching. And of course, other than that, I'm continuing with Uwari and the South Mountains and the Smoky Mountains. I'll always be in those areas week by week. Again, my goal as time goes on, just continue to try to get my cameras, my audio. I always think of something different. Though, try to do things a little bit differently, and maybe there's got to be some kind of smell, some type of food that they're going to find irresistible. They're going to make mistakes. So if you use your noggin and you think they can make a mistake and you could get a great piece of documentation off of one of their mistakes. So I'm
Right.
just going to continue to do what I've been doing. And I just do it because I enjoy it. I'm not trying to be popular or anything like that. I just have fun doing it. I have fun sharing my areas. And I wish I could get some type of documentation where I could just put it up and be like, yeah, I got you now. You didn't believe in Bigfoot. You believe in it now. You can scan this. This ain't AI. This ain't a hoax.
Right.
It's the real deal Holyfield. So I just want to continue to try to get evidence and have fun doing it.
Hmm.
Well, it sounds good. It sounds good. We want to thank you so much for being here. Again, it's amazing to see your research, your stories. It's good. We're just happy for you to be here.
Yep.
We want to
I'm
thank
glad to
everyone
be
that's
here.
in the chat. You guys, thanks for all the questions for Dwight. You guys did an amazing job. I want you guys to please like, subscribe, share this out. Leave a comment after. Go subscribe to Dwight.
Yeah.
Go check him out on TikTok.
Yep.
Carolina Bigfoot. But other than that, sir, got anything else?
I appreciate it. I enjoyed being on, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening.
Oh, and happy Father's Day. Even though you
Thank
might
you.
not have a little one, you got a four-legged little one, so that counts.
Yeah, I do. You're right. I do.
And to everybody out there that's listening, happy Father's Day as well.
Happy Father's Day.
All right, everyone. Have a good night and
Keep squatching.
keep squatching. Thanks, Dwight.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send you the pictures in a little while. All right.
Okay. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Bye.
All right. You too.
I thought you had an ending for it.
Welcome to the place where we find the proof you seek. O.C.S.T. Talking cryptids and the paranormal. You hear the whoops, you hear the growls. You watch the woods, you've seen it prowl. O.C.S.